I've been wanting to do this topic for a while. It may stir up some emotions in some people, but bear with me till the end of this video. Being offended. Yep, we're going there. So let's first understand what offended is, okay? Offended, to irritate, annoy, or anger, or cause resentful displeasure, from dictionary.com. It's okay to be offended. It's okay. It shows that you care about something. If somebody offends you about something, that's a pretty big cue to that you care a lot about something that they said, right? There's some type of underlying passion there of why somebody's comment made you angry. I think if you did not get offended, you may be pretty complacent and just not care ever. Doesn't sound interesting to me. Sorry if you're that kind of person. I don't know any, but being offended is okay. Again, look for the deeper meaning in that. It's showing that you actually care about something. But here's the thing. I think lately, and maybe it's not lately, maybe I'm just observing this a lot more lately, people seem to get offended and lash out and go separate ways and nothing gets resolved. That's where I think the problem is. So the problem is not getting offended, it's how people react to being offended, okay? Disagreement is an art, it really is. This is an opportunity to understand somebody else's perspective. And here's the thing, I mean, I know people just don't have time, I don't care, I understand their perspective, they offended me with their perspective, okay? But take the time to understand why that perspective is, because that's going to give you the opportunity to counter that, not in an angry way, that just pushes them away, but counter that to maybe make them understand a different perspective and have a new light on the issue, or whatever that is, whatever that topic is that you're so passionate about and they have offended you with. Or we could just keep our blinders on and just keep living in the dark. That's fun, right? No, everybody thinks exactly how I do. You're just wrong, just whatever. I hate everybody. But again, offended. I think we just need to approach it a little different. Now, this does not mean that listening to their perspective, you have to agree to it, that you have to subscribe to exactly what they're saying. You don't have to. What? You don't have to? This is great. I can listen to the perspective, continue to disagree, and walk away and whatever. At least I gained a new perspective of somebody else and I've learned from the experience, but I didn't have to absorb their belief from a conversation. Your choice. Now, have I ever been offended? Yeah, I'm a female in construction. Of course I've been offended. But over the years, I've learned how to handle this offense a little differently. The topic that would offend me the most through at least half of my career was that women don't belong in construction. So here's the different situations, okay? I tell somebody, I meet somebody and we start to get into a conversation. They ask what I do. I say that I work in construction. And their comment is, I don't think women belong in construction. Okay. So I'm offended. This guy needs to learn that women can do stuff in construction and he is wrong. You're attacking me right now just through that comment. Now listen, he didn't say you don't belong in construction. He said women don't belong in construction, which again, I'm still a woman. So of course my brain's doing that quick calculation. And I'm offended. I am offended and I'm gonna be angry about it, all right? Well, my blood pressure increases, my face starts turning red, I start focusing in on the person, my peripheral goes away, right? I'm focusing in on that person. My brain has process this as a threat. He offended me. He personally told me that I don't belong in construction because I'm a female in construction. So that's an attack on me. So my brain is going freeze, fight, flight, respond, sweaty palms, let's do this. Why don't you think women belong in construction? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What, do you live in the 30s, you chauvinist pig? All right, stop, okay? Stop right there. Now let's evaluate the situation here. He either walks or runs away and does not have any different perspective on women in construction, except that they're freaking crazy because they just lash out on people from a simple comment or trying to have a conversation, okay? So what do you think he's going to do the next time he approaches a woman in construction? He's going to be very calculated, very careful, probably not say that women don't belong in construction. So, okay, check mark there, that's one of the things you may have been trying to accomplish. But does he have a different belief or a different perspective about women in construction? Yes, but not a good one. Okay. Has it changed his mind for the better that we can work in construction? Nope, probably not. Probably not. So that's the first reaction, okay? Instinctual reaction, not so mature reaction. But this is exactly what happened through half of my career. Now, let's go through another scenario later in my life, okay? Sitting, having another conversation with somebody. I say that I work in construction, and the comment comes out, well, I don't think that women should work in construction. So yes, I'm a little offended, and I feel that anger starting to brew a little bit, but I'm able to hold it back because I realize it's not going to be productive this time, okay? Not falling for that trap again. Nice try, brain. But he's not attacking me. We're just having a conversation. Chill out for a moment. Let's see what this guy has to say. So instead of putting on my crazy ex-girlfriend face and attacking him and in disagreement, I ask him, why do you think that? What? Very direct question. I'd love to know his opinion. Why is he saying this? Why do they think that women, he or she, I should say, why do they think that women do not belong in construction? In this instance, it was a he, and this is what he said. Because I work in this field too, and I see all the things that I have to go through, and it is stressful and unpleasant, and I don't think it's right that women should have to go through that. What? Wasn't expecting that. It wasn't that I'm not qualified or I'm not smart enough or I'm not strong enough, whatever. It was, I have a hard time in this industry, and I don't think it's fair that women are in this too. Now, that's kind of sweet. I appreciate his perspective, although I don't agree with it. I think that I'm a very strong woman and I can stick up for myself, but that's a way different response than what your brain is perceiving as somebody attacking you, saying you're not smart enough, you're not strong enough, you're not competent enough, you don't know enough. What all those different scenarios that are going through your mind that you think that he may have been alluding to, that wasn't it at all. And so from here, now you realize you just gained another perspective from somebody. That's very kind of you to want to protect me or females of not having to deal with the different stressors and the challenges of this industry. But then you can continue the conversation and grow and learn from each other of, does he even realize that I don't work in the field, that I do work in the office? Now, I cannot talk for the strong women who work in the field. I very much respect them. I have no idea what it's like to work in the field. They do. And I don't want to misrepresent that at all. So in the office, I work on a management side. I'm not running heavy equipment. I don't have to run a jackhammer. The stresses in your body. I mean, there's been a lot of people who have gotten injured, who have seen safety hazards, even deaths in construction. And so protecting women from seeing or experiencing that's a decent perspective. Now, there are other men on the other side of the spectrum that probably do not see it this way. But again, just asking the question of, why do you think that? and then being able to have a conversation and educate them more about what you do in your position and why you are capable of doing that, that's going to change the perspective of whatever conversation you have going on, whether it's women in construction or whether it's your driving habits.
Get out of the way!
I don't know. This goes for any conversation. Just ask them why they think that. That is a very powerful question. Why do you say that? And not, well, why do you say that? That's obviously going to instill that anger and that fight, freeze, fight, flight reaction in that person as well. So just try to calm yourself and ask, well, why is that? Why do you think that? I'd love to know your perspective. Powerful questions. You've got to communicate. Don't just get angry and let your instinctual brain take over that they're attacking you personally. There's a lot of things that go on outside of your world, in their own world, that could be affecting their decision, their perspective, their rage, their anger, their stress, whatever. So that's when you don't take things personally. And I was very much taking that women in construction comment personally when it had a much larger context and it was not personal at all. So again, being offended is okay. It's very much okay. Again, it shows that somebody is passionate about one topic and you're passionate about the opposite end of that topic. And so figuring out the differences or why, that's just going to create an opportunity for you to learn more about yourself and or other people. Versus if you use that passion to turn into anger or conflict, bad conflict, not good conflict, that's just going to create more of a barrier between you and them. And that barrier and that wall is going to get thicker and thicker. You're never going to be able to see the other side. And it's going to look stressful. It is. You're going to be living in the dark at that point. So yes, it's okay to be offended, but check your reaction to how you're offended, okay? Don't take it personally. And when people say don't take it personally, that's what they're talking about. Is if somebody makes a general statement, don't let your brain calculate that and bring it back to you. They may even say you, but they may not be effectively communicating because their mind's in amygdala hijack, whatever. Understand your passion behind that offense and use it in a productive way. Don't live in the dark. Don't put on your blinders, because that's just going to build a thicker wall between you and that group of people or that person. Instead of being able to understand why they're thinking that way, to use to your benefit later in any other conversations. You got this. I'm rambling. All right. Get to the point. I didn't like that ending. Let's try this again. Somebody else's perspective. Fly. Get that fly. Differently. We're going to go with that one.